Welcome everyone. So today we'll be focusing on some new UI UX updates that are going to show up in Appsmith over the next few months. So today my co-host is Debsourabh, also known as Joy. He's one of our designers at Appsmith, and he'll be demoing certain new design changes that are upcoming, and then we'll be talking through some of the ideas that we're implementing in our new updates there. So first things though, let's go over the agenda. So we're going to do product updates from the last 2 weeks. Then we're going to cover 3 different UI UX updates. The first one is around navigation between widgets and data sources. The second one is making it easier to find widgets. And the third one is making it easier to find common JS code snippets while you're writing JS. Talking about updates from the last 2 weeks. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had one release and we have another upcoming release that's going to go live tomorrow. The first release had an iframe widget. Using this widget, now you can embed any website that lets you embed itself in an iframe. You'll be able to post a message to the iframe and you'll be able to trigger actions on receiving that message using this iframe widget. So that's the first one that's already live. The second one, we've added 2 more API authentication methods. One of them is the bearer token way, and the other one is the API key way. We already had basic auth 2.0, but now we've added these 2 more API authentication ways. Tomorrow, we'll have a few more updates that are going to go live. There's an update to the group actions. Then there is a new multi-select table. Then there are a bunch of new widgets. So we'll talk about them in a different update. But as of today, we have these 2 major updates. So let's move on to the UI UX updates. So we're going to talk about 3 main problems that we solved. And Joy and we're going to talk you through what our solutions for those are and what they will look like once they're live. The first one was solving the problem of slow navigation between entities. Inside Appsmith, you often have to switch between the canvas where you have the widgets and then to the queries or the data sources or APIs. And you have to keep doing this multiple times. And we are in the process of introducing JS code as well. So now you'll have a third section to look at, which is JS code. So to simplify the problem of moving between widgets and connected queries, as well as making it easy for new developers who join Appsmith to connect to data sources. So this is the problem that we got about solving. And I'm gonna just show you a demo of what that actually looks like in practice. So this is a deploy preview that we're just testing out here. So here I have a table. This table has certain data that's coming from query 1, and then I have query 1 here. Now, after I connect this table to query 1, I can actually see that it's showing me its incoming connections, and I know that I have a query 1 from this mock database, and I can go click and access it right here. This makes it really easy for me to move between widgets and APIs. And even for the query pane, Joy is going to show you, you're going to see the dependencies and widgets that connect to this query. You're going to see it here. As of today, you can also see this in the debugger in the inspect entity, where I can see that table 1 is referencing this query 1, and I can click this to again go access this. So this is one of the updates that we are testing as we speak, and there are going to be more changes here. For now, I'm just going to hand it off to Joy, who's going to show designs that will show you what's coming after this. Over to you,
thanks,
Joy.
Abhishek. Hey, thanks. Hi, folks. I will quickly take you through the changes which we have introduced. So as you saw Abhishek's screen, once you have a widget on the canvas, you have a new updated Entity Explorer on the right, which now has like a way of telling you what are the incoming entities and outgoing entities to that particular widget. As you saw on the previous screen, when you click on it, we tell you what the incoming entity is. The interesting thing is after you connect an entity to the widget, you have a relationship tag which comes up, which basically tells you the relationship and the dependencies between each of them. So what we show in the debugger is basically a very crude version of the same thing. So over here, if you look, you can see like this is the widget which has like this is the data source, and then the data source is being fed into table 1, and then if you click on table 1, it basically opens table 1 again for you, so that you can easily navigate from one place to other. If you want to like go back, you can click on this, you can see which entity is updating table 1, and you can go back to that entity. So there are multiple use cases. You can have a more complex relationship established between maybe the query is being updated by something, and the query in turn updates a bunch of other widgets. So how do we show that in a easier format? This is the solution we have come up with, where you can see like all the dependencies in one place. Mind you, the same thing comes over inspect entity also. So it's like just a repetitive thing, but this is a way more leaner, cleaner visual way of like understanding the flow of the data within the Appsmith platform. So yeah, this is what we have today. And also like, since we have a little more time, we're also like showing errors. If you know, the debugger already shows errors to you, and even the widgets today show errors, but now we're also introducing errors at the property pane level. So if there's like a warning sign for the widget in the entity, you can even click and see where the issue is, and you get the debugger icon right there, and you can click on that, and then you can open the debugger directly from the same place. You don't have to like go down and like search for it. So it's very contextual now. So that's
Joy.
it for the new app.
So while we were working on making this, we did a lot of research into what are the common paths that our users take. And we found out that this loop is very common. We saw that in our user session recordings and by speaking with users. So that was the main problem that we are trying to solve here. Moving on to the next problem. This is another problem that shows up very often on our Discord. Users often request for common JS snippets that they can use to either transform data or to do a certain action. Like maybe you're doing like if-else conditioning for visibility of a widget. So we often get these requests. So we decided to solve this using JS snippets. The core problem that we are solving is new users find it difficult to write bug-free JS. The second is there are common data transformations that are done by users repeatedly. There again, they reuse the same JS code multiple times. The third is just the number of support requests have grown quite a bit as our user base has grown. So to address this, we decided to introduce JS snippets. Joy, over to you.
Hey, thanks. I'll just quickly share my screen again. Hey, so let's look at the snippets. Okay, so before we move on to the snippets part, we're also introducing the autocomplete trigger now. So basically anywhere where you write a code, you can have a / which triggers the small entity over here, where this is very contextual. So wherever you want to like add a new binding or something, you can just click on write / we give you all the suggested menus, and then you can continue auto completing the code from there on. This works across a lot of places, not just property pane. For the snippet search, which Abhishek mentioned, we have now introduced like a omni bar, which has 3 broader options: navigate, use snippets, and search documentation. If you say click on use snippets, we basically move you to a screen like this, where it tells you what the major search entity is, which is snippets. And within snippets, you can search. It's a split view where you can see the selected object on the left and like a more detailed version on the right. And then there's a filter at the bottom to like filter out any snippets which you want, depending on what you want. And the best part about this entire thing is it's very keyboard oriented. So if you press like backspace twice, you go back to the screen, and then you can like probably go to navigate. And if you go to navigate, you can like select widgets you want to navigate to. So it's very like user friendly keyboard first navigation, which has been built across the board. Same with documentation. You can search documentation, and then we give you a split view telling you what the broader subject is, and then like a more final detail on the right. that is what we are planning to introduce, this WIP, but this is how we are planning to work this out.
Thanks, Joy. So one of the coolest features that we've been working on is introducing more keyboard shortcuts to do certain repeat actions. The thing that Joy showed you on Figma. So if you just type /, you'll actually be able to access all the queries that you have, as well as, so for example, here I have users query here, and I can just hit a tab and it directly like binds the query with this table. The other thing I can do is I can also create new queries. So I have a mock database here. I've selected it and I hit enter and it creates a new query for me. And here I can choose a template and it'll actually run this query. So, and then I can actually go on and connect this in the table. I can also like select it by doing that. So this just makes it super simple. Moving on to the next one, the next thing that we've been working on after new navigation is improving the widget discovery. So today in Appsmith, we have around 22 widgets, and we have around another 5 more on its way to go live over the next couple of weeks. And the number of widgets are just going to keep growing. The problem we ran into are, one, the widget icons are not always easy to understand. Second, they're often difficult to find because there is no categorization. They're all like lumped together and ordered alphabetically. Third is, there are 5 or 6 widgets that are very frequently used, and they have become very difficult to locate. Because the table widget, for example, which is used so commonly, is at the bottom row, which doesn't make sense. So to deal with these problems, we worked on a few new designs, and I'm going to let Joy show that.
Okay, thanks. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys? Is this too small? Should I zoom in?
This looks okay. I think maybe you can go full screen. It's
yeah. Does this help?
Yeah, this should be good.
Okay, cool. So this is, as you can see, this is a very fresh look which we are giving to our entire builder. And straight off the bat, you can see like the Explore and the widget has now become one unit. Initially, widget used to be like a page by itself once you click on it. Now we're trying to bring it out. So you have like an Explorer and like a widget tab on top. And the other thing which we have done is we have tried to categorize them by color codes and by categories. So you have display. If you click on display, we only show you like display options. And then we have also done like a subgrouping within that. So if you want to see charts, you can see like all the charts within the charts. So it's like a subcategory of display. And then you can like categorize them by inputs. And if you see, we have done like a very different color coding for each of them. So like it's easier for you to memorize, or like probably it's easy for you to locate where it is. Same with layout. We have tried to categorize them into different things so that you can find them easily. This is the widget part of it. If you look on the right, on the top, you see like these icons, which are basically the most commonly used widgets. So how these work is, I'm going to quickly move to Figma, where there are the other designs. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, so how the top section works is you have the most common widgets on the top, and as you click on them, you get like you enter into a ghost mode with the cursor, and you can basically draw the size of which you want the widget to be. So you can draw like a size, and you can tell us how big you want the widget to be. And the moment you let go of the cursor here, we drop the widget to the exact same size. So these are for the widgets which are on the top, the most commonly used widgets. We're also thinking of customizing them. You can probably have your own custom widgets, but that's the broader idea. And as I showed you, the widgets part on the left will be something like this, with like a lot of categories and also like a search bar on the top. So that is what we have done with the widget and quick navigation.
Thanks, Joy. So these are the main updates that we had that we have for you today. These upcoming UI changes, you're going to see them over the next couple of months. A lot of them are still being tested. So if you have any ideas or any feedback about this, please write to us on email, Discord, or Intercom. And we'd love any thoughts that you have here. Otherwise, this is all we have for you today. And I'm going to go ahead and end the call if there are no questions. All right, I'm going to end the call. Thank you so much for showing up, everybody. I'll see you all on our next week's call.
Thank you, folks. Have a great day.
Bye.